private sector is not yet fully utilized, because not everybody can be employed by government. And we are looking at a future whereby more people are employed in the private sector than in government. So I think if we all work hard, if we all work together and invest in the right areas, there's been a lot of talk about value addition in the agriculture sector, in the mineral sector. If there is enough investment in those areas, I think it can create enough jobs for our children and grandchildren.
Okay. Yeah. I just want to take you to question number 4, Andrew, which is, let's talk about your journey at City Hall and the foray into the Executive Director's office, which is as Andrew Chitaka,
Very interesting.
as well as the Director Engineering.
Very interesting. I joined KCCA on 1st November 2011. And before then, I was
for so much.
Yes.
CEO of, you know, whatever.
Yes.
They give so much.
This is the reason why you're actually on the bench.
Because of my credibility. Thank you so much. But now they attack you, they vilify you. And the goal is to weaken you financially. Is to weaken your honor. These are slanderers. So I'm glad that someone would stay up at night to ask and learn about me. And I pray that in the next 2 months, because I know many Ugandans who travel overseas, when they go there, one of the things, because the media has been so much, and Sam Kutesa, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, has really not done a good job. He has dropped the ball on this issue. Why? So many of us are being accused of being gay killers, including me. You've just heard that person. Uganda is being accused that we kill gays, which actually is absolutely untrue. And because of this, it has affected our tourism. It affects people who go overseas to do work or study. It affects whenever you go to a conference. Hi, my name is Eddie Okila. Where are you from? I'm from Uganda. Oh, you are the gay killers. And then you begin to describe. So one of the things that I've done is I've written a book, which should be coming out. I know that I keep saying the same thing, but the work of doing a book takes a long time, and I wish I could be supported. You know, many people who write on this subject, like Sylvia Tamale, she's supported by the Rockefeller Foundation, Carnegie Foundation. There is money.
Okila is a very big brand, and as we go on, we will probably discuss the things we're trying to do to see that things change for the better.
Good. Sean, on the CEO bench, for everyone who is following, we're live on our YouTube studio where we actually stream from. So YouTube studio, for everybody asking for a link, is actually House of Talent Uganda.
Confident in themselves and what they are offering. I think that's the biggest problem. Like, women will easily settle for a less pay than men would.
Mona Onyeto Deke goes on to say, I think this is a comment, says, I didn't know that beauty products are taxed at 60%. Whoa.
They are. I pray that changes soon, but they are.
So with that challenge of 60%,
setting up the company, you're doing tours all across the world. You know, a personal account is great, but how these things are taxed becomes important for you know, for your business later on. As soon as you cross that threshold of 50 million a year, you know, you're now in
the interest become more shares. don't give up. They say, "Wait, you have not yet grown up, Muzukulu. You have to wait. I'm still here until I die." Is when you come. So how is that happening with you and the young people, particularly where you sit today?
What's happening is this. One, first and foremost, you need to accept that the younger generation is doing things in a way different way that we used to do it. Two, you have to give them the space early enough. You need to let them take that seat early enough, because then they can be doing things way better than we used to do them. Some of us are fortunate, like me. I had an opportunity to work. My first gig in the industry, I was holding the light for guys to film a wedding. You know, it has come from that where I am today. You know, so maybe I should say, if I wasn't given that opportunity, I would not be here today. You know, so what I'm saying is, let us give chance to these young guys now. You know, it's not that when you give them chance that they're brushing you off, you know, to go back to the village and sit. You know, but it's also good to lay back and see how things are happening. You know, like you've inspired guys. I've met some guys on the streets and they're like, "Hey, I honestly don't know them." Others I probably met when they were so young. But they tell you stories of how they've become what they are today because of you. It really feels quite good, nice, you know. And I also have like that positive energy. That's my wife. She keeps telling me, push towards this, push towards that. You know, but before I used to talk about things, now she's helping me make them practical, you know. So let's give the young guys a chance. They're quite creative. They're hungry. And then let's give them the opportunity, because however hungry you are and someone is not giving you that plate, you know, you might end up becoming a beast. So let's feed them before they become beasts. You know? Yes.
Wow. Faisal KIWEWA, welcome back from the outside countries. You're always traveling. You know, how is the State House, by the way?
It's good. It's getting warmer. You should come and check it out.
Yes, we definitely want to come there. And welcome back to the show.
Yeah.
Today, gentlemen, we want to discuss a topic that we have not been discussing before. It has not been discussed before. People don't think about it. And we think, as a creative industry talk, that we should start a conversation around this area. Creative spaces in Uganda. Do we have a thinking space for creative? You know, we will start by actually saying, who is a creative mind? And do we have spaces for these people to actually think, to create, to come up with something that we can be proud of? I want to give you guys a context very quickly. When I have coffee or growing cassava or sweet potatoes in the, you know, in the garden, you know, crisp gonja. Today we have crisps coming out of gonja. Before we used to have from sweet potatoes. I mean from Irish potatoes. Somebody thought about the entire process and came up with gonja crisps and is frying it. They needed a creative person to think through that process of how it's going to look like. And they needed somebody to design, you know, the packaging of that,
branding,
you know, of the branding and everything. And then later on, they needed somebody like Mustaque to, you know, come up with a fantastic video that, you know, make you feel like I want to eat this thing. Yes. And then Faisal will come up with a concert and say, you come and enjoy these things there. So when you go to the concert, you're having your drink, you have these crisps, you're enjoying, there's music there, and you're dancing, and you're, you know, all of these things are creative people. Are there spaces for us to create? Do creatives in Uganda have spaces available to start with? I want to start with you, you know, Faisal, for starters. Yes.
I don't know. I mean, the concept of creative spaces, I mean, it's been there for a long time. I think in Uganda, we've had an opportunity to have people who have really benefited from creative spaces, although they were not known as creative spaces. They were known as like rehearsal rooms or studios and stuff like that. Because, you know, the content we consume since 2000, I think since the early 2000s, when the Chameleons and the Bebe Cools came in with their local sound of music, they were working in studios. Okay, they were coming from Kenya, but they came here with the music and we enjoyed it. And since then, creativity in the music production has really grown. And then when you look at theater, It has suffered a bit, and I think most of the one of the challenges that theatre has faced in Uganda, or the spaces for theatre have faced in Uganda, is these born-again churches that have taken over these spaces, because theatre was not making a lot of money. Look at the spaces like the Bati Valley, look at the spaces like the Bakaimbira, where they used to perform in Mengo, is it Rubaga, somewhere there? You know, all these spaces have been taken over because they could not afford it. There wasn't enough money for them to pay rent and taxes and stuff like that. But then there are other things that when it comes to creative processes, the thinking aspect of it, when someone really needs to understand or take time off, like writers, like you know, poets, like you know, inventors. I don't think we have many inventors except Sewa Sewa and some other guy who do invent things. So there hasn't been room, there hasn't been really a driving force and capacity for people to have a space where they can go and think and research, you know, because the creative process also involves research. So the possibility of people to go somewhere and have space where they can spend a month or a year when they are not being disturbed, they are there to come up with something new, is really very rare. I haven't seen it in this country. And then I think also for me in my area of work, I don't want to confuse creative spaces with hubs, because hubs are also a different breed, a different setup of creative processing. But from my performing arts area, you can't go to a hub and write a play.
No,
you can't. You know, so when someone tells you, oh, we have creative spaces, hubs are very good for, you know, engagement, for you know, developing networking. Maybe you can develop a software there. You can, you know, do the things. But when it comes to like, you know, like in the hubs, some of the hubs you can do like product designing, and conceptualizing and stuff like that. But in the performing arts, you need to write. You need to sit down to concentrate in your own space.
You need to be in that zone.
And then you after that you bring it out. So you need people to practice. You need people to understand it, to develop the concept. So I don't know. We still need to do some work.
I want to dive straight to Mustaque. Mustaque, you have been as the judge of the, you know, camera works in Uganda today, as we called you. You said you've switched gears, and for the first time, we're hearing that you have come up with a creative space for the creatives to think, not the traditional, you know, hub that have now sort of like taken over Kampala and many other, you know, cities in East Africa. There are so many of them, but there was no specific place for creative people to be in. Why did you switch gear?
I switched gear because I did a flashback of 20 years back. Where was I? How did I get to start and stuff like that? What are the hurdles that, you know, I faced, and, you know, things like that. And I've also had a chance to work with the young filmmakers or the young guys that are interested in the industry. And you find them struggling to have that leap to start. You find guys that are doing very good work. He's had a chance to buy or to get a laptop, but he's sitting in his two-roomed house somewhere. You know, something that he would get a chance to charge, say 2 million shillings. He does not have the base to charge that 2 million shillings, and he's okay with taking 500. So what am I saying? So I said, okay, why don't we come up with this space where we can all meet? If Eddie, you're an editor, Faisal is a writer, I'm a sound recorder, you know, let us have this one place where we literally sit. If you charge 2 million shillings to edit, and you have this space where your clients come and find you, and the place looks the part. You know what I'm saying? So they come, they meet you in a place, there's coffee there, there's other people that are doing the same thing that you do. You know, there's comfort even in the client themselves when they come and find you, and you give them a quote confidently. You know, these are some things we've learned as we've gone in the industry. Someone needs to feel comfortable and look at you and see that you're worth X. The X that you're asking for. You know, the
creative work you're doing is worth something.
If somebody puts it himself, because the creativity already someone likes you, someone says, okay, that does good work. But do I feel comfortable giving Okila the 2 million shillings when I come to his home? Why
Yeah.
Why am I giving Okila 2 million
That
shillings?
if I give him the 2 million, he's going to try and pay for a 2-bedroom house.
Exactly. Like, why am I paying him 2 million shillings?
Yeah.
When he's in his Kazigo?
Yeah.
So they like your work, yes, but they cannot trust you with 2 million shillings. You know. Yet if they came to that space, you would even tell them I charge 3 million shillings, and they would pay it confidently. And then even you yourself. This is how we've grown. I mean, I started off, I told you, holding lights, then I went into camera, blah, blah, blah. Then I was a freelancer, I was, director of photography, most of these big production houses that you see in town, But then I also grew into a production house, So it grows, and then what do? You need a copywriter, you need sound recording. So it's a networking thing. That's how this industry runs, by the way. Yeah. If you try to do things alone, you're in trouble.
Yes.
You see it. So this particular space is supposed to be a home for all the people that feel like, I need to get myself to the next level in the industry. I have my friend, Mike Wawiu Senior. He keeps telling me one thing, that we have the industry, especially, he always relates to the filming industry. We're in this deep hole, all of us. But we're trying to find a way of climbing out
to get out of the hole.
Yes. But you see, as you're climbing out, you're stepping on Faisal's shoulder. Then, as you're about to get up there, Faisal collapses and then you come down. So there's all that. So we're all trying to. So we're not helping each other to climb out.
Wow.
You see it. So what I'm saying, let me contribute. Let me avail this space. But again, also the space, like I keep saying, I was telling Faisal already that the space needs to run comfortably. What am I saying? The creatives that we have, especially the young ones that we're targeting, might not have the muscle to run things there, to afford to be there. But there's electricity bills to be paid, there's rent to be paid, there's everything that a creative, to make sure the place is running. So I'm telling Faisal, why don't we split this into two? Let me look for, say, expatriates who can come during certain hours and run the place like a hub, let them be able to pay A, B, C, D. Let's get that and make sure that when Okila comes and is a young creative, we're okay with telling him, you pay 10,000. Because Faisal has paid 30.
Yes.
So it's okay for you, Okila, to do what? And then we're saying, after 6, yes, exactly. So we're saying 6:30 to about 9 p.m.
Yes.
This was the original plan before this whole mess came around, the COVID mess. We're saying so many people out there, especially in the industry, have films, have projects they have done.
Yes.
So we're saying, back to the principle. Let us have that space or that time for the filmmakers. Faisal has this project, this film. He needs to have people to come and fund it, or he needs his executive producers to see what he has done. And we're saying, okay, we have a 25-seater. Let them come. There's a huge screen. There's very good sound. Let the crew come in and have a look at their project before it goes to the cinema. Things like that. Don't call them and they get shocked in the cinema. Like, what happened to the sound? Let's call them. Let's call the production crew. Let them see it, watch these things before they go out there, make corrections of this and that.
Wow.
So this space is basically for things like that.
Wow.
But also, I think for me, when you ask why Musta made this shift, I think for me it's also, I don't know how they call it in English, but in Luganda we say that chikukakatako, like as you hold exactly. You've been there, you've done it, and you know what it takes to be a filmmaker. You know the challenges. So if you have an opportunity to offer that step forward, you're really adding on to the foundation that you've built for the next generation, so that they don't suffer the same challenges that we now. So I think it's a very, very significant contribution that Musta is doing.
Wow,
thank you.
Well, the creative industry is talking. Creative Industry Talk is talking about creative spaces in Kampala. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, Faisal, Musta, and I are going to be discussing: do these creatives actually appreciate these spaces being there? Can we learn something from Musta? Can we learn something from Faisal and the State House in Lunkulu, which is also supposed to be a place for us to create and go and shoot videos, and you stay there in the forest, hang out with some animals and some birds. Stay right there, we'll be right back. But also we want to know from you, what is your thinking? Do you think these spaces are needed? It is critical for us to have it in this point in time. We'll be right back after the break. I see Sebunjo sending messages. Yes.
So, for example, your space, that would be very nice for writers. We've got writers that are up to something, we're hoping to be shooting, and we're talking about the solo side. You know those small islands that you go to those bullet things, just small tiny islands. There's going to speed up something there. And this thing yeah, I've actually seen something for YouTube. Yes, I saw that. So there's those kind of environments that these writers need to have. Yes, go there, book yourself for 2 weeks, a month, and that's the zone. Yeah. That's the zone.
People at the moment,
and the good thing with them,
struggling to understand the older generation because times have changed. Technology has come in.
Yeah, and then if you're so lucky, it comes back only at 6.
And guys are ready to go back.
2 hours, you know.
Want to exhaust. I want these guys to have the much time as possible. Is everything okay? I'm not seeing Emma. I think he's doing okay. You will help him as the director.
I never call it
which microphone?
It's book face.
Which microphone? Which microphone? Can you ask him which microphone?
Dad, it's Facebook.
You can't just give the batteries. Oh, he's putting the battery just in case.
He's backing up. But you locked him out, yeah?
Yeah, this is...
But yesterday,
Me, I keep saying
which one?
I have a foot amongst the millennials.
Yeah.
I understand the tradition.
Okay.
It's just
They'll be okay.
70s, where they're like, parents don't understand. Remember Prince?
All right, so Emma, we are good to go after this. Okay. So I'm really loving the conversation for me. So the next part we're going back to, we want to know, are people appreciating this? Do they feel like this is a place? Or we're going back? Okay. Welcome back from that break. My name is Eddie Okila. In the studio is Faisal KIWEWA and Mustaque Abdallah, aka Prince of Wakanda. Actually known to because I might be saying Mustaque and guys that know Prince of Wakanda, so they'll be wondering. But but
confusing.
Yes, guys, welcome back to the show. I'm really enjoying the conversation. I want to go back straight to you, Mustaque and Faisal. Do creatives actually appreciate this new development we're talking about? Because creatives also can be very difficult to understand. You create a space for them to be in and says, so that Mustaque can become rich. I can't. Do I take my money for Faisal to become rich? The man has already bought an island. No, I'm not going to take my work there. That's another challenge we have. Do creatives actually appreciate this new development we're talking about coming in our space today? That Mustaque has come up with a space that where I can go and preview my film, get all my people to come and preview my film without me having to worry about, I need to call the guy who has a screen, I need to call the guy who has speakers, then they bring you home theaters. The home theater can't give you the right sound and the ambience for you to review your work. You get it? Are they appreciating this, to start with Mustaque?
Of course, like the saying goes lately, process by process. Process by process.
Yes.
These things are not as easy as they may seem like. Yeah. But there are those that appreciate them, definitely. I have had, we've already had the Film 256 writers workshop that took place for an entire week, where we have writers from all over Uganda. They came, and had a workshop there for a whole week. We've shot some stuff in there personally as a production house. We've had Steve look at the place, Steve Jane Fennon looking at the place. We've had the Swang's CEOs, Julius and Benon have come and have appreciated what they look at. I've got my brother Jose Ajemba, the guy who's grown up in the industry. He's currently in TZ. I first talked to him about this. This is the guy that we talk about things and see how we can still be of service in the industry. I keep telling him I think I'm going to do this, that, and I remember yesterday actually I gave him a tour on phone, video of what the place looks like, and he was like, "Whoa, this is amazing. There's a lady called Solea, she's also in the industry. She came and she was like, now this is the space where we need to sit. Why? Because even the creatives ourselves, man, we are I don't know if the word weird doesn't sound abusive or anything. We're in our own zones. I want to put on my shorts. I've got my hair. People are going to have, look at your jeans, tattered. Some guy is going to have a rucksack or his bag on, others are putting on.
So Faisal just shows up with his shoulder.
Exactly.
So, says, I don't have this time.
There's places where we go to and people look at you and they're like, and you don't feel invited or even comfortable. Some guy walks into your room and he's got 3 dreadlocks. But ideally, when you look at his CV and what he has done,
this is the guy you're looking for.
Exactly, you get it. So now we're creating this environment where you walk in and you feel at home. No one is going to judge you by how you look like, so you just walk in and this is the right zone for you. So we're creating, that's why I'm thinking they will appreciate this Mpola Mpola. These things are new, but we have to get there. They even, if you look at cost effectiveness lately with all this that has hit us, you don't have to come to town every day, but that one time you come, you're okay with paying the 30,000 to come and do exactly what brought you, because now we're coming with a purpose. We not like those days where you used to wake up and just come to and go like, okay, now what's the plan?
Can I go to St. Anthony's? Can I go to Antonio's restaurant?
Exactly.
Go to Nando's. Then you go to Nando's, you're trying to think like this is Nando's.
Ideally, you used to get to town and you're planning when you're in town. But now you're leaving home and you're saying, I'm going to the hub. I have made the phone call, I've booked space, let me go there and utilize my 8 hours purposefully. And if you notice, if you come in town and you just zunga around, do you know how much money you spend? Way more than even what you're probably budgeting for.
If you're not arrested for idle.
Even that,
because you might also end up playing cards.
And why they're going to arrest you, by the way, is because we creatives, like I already mentioned, you have your 3 dreadlocks, you have your cornrows, you have. So to some people, you look like you're just an idler. Yet, yet you've got the brain and everything to make that proves that you're a very, very sane person. Only that for you in this zone. So we're creating or availing this zone for people like that.
But I think I think for me, just I told Eddie here some time ago that creatives are always need. I mean, creativity is not. You can't be sober that much to be creative. I'm sorry. I mean, if you're sober mind and you think you're gonna be creative,
zero.
You're really like.
But you can be sober to
create. You've seen great stuff. The great stuff. Okay, people create when they are sober, but you will see where they are. The thing is that I think also. I think also the other point on how our people are appreciating these spaces. That we were at a situation where music was never appreciated locally, and people started appreciating because why didn't they appreciate it at the beginning? Because they didn't know that it could be good music. They didn't know that they would appreciate it. But now it's the same thing, and this is a 360. The creative industry is a 360 value chain. You can say you can't do everything. You can't do, and you might not know that you need someone to help you. Like I was talking with Isaac Wakaliwood, and he's like, he's studying now on YouTube. He's studying how to be.
He's on YouTube University.
No, he's just doing his own YouTube.
And research and all that.
Yeah, we call it YouTube University. He's studying at YouTube University. Actually, he has some great stuff. He has some great stuff he's working on. But what I found fascinating is this realization that it doesn't matter whether you're a filmmaker or you're a scriptwriter, you need someone. And as things grow, before you could make your own film. Have the camera, have a few actors.
You have to do everything yourself.
Now, people tell you, no, the sound is not good. Can you go to so and so?
He does better sound.
The image, who was your DOP? Can you go to talk to Monster? This is where we're going, and I think people will come to the point where they realize that they cannot stay in their own zones. They need others to work with, and I think it's a matter of time.
I just want to take you guys straight to this part of our creative industry talk. These spaces we're talking about here, for starters, how many spaces do we have? I know we talked about not having very many, which are specifically meant for a creative person to go and create stuff. I mean, I'm a TV content creator, master the art of writing the TV content. but you see, I can't create. Sometimes I do weird stuff. I go into the steam and sit in the steam, and I don't have a pen and a paper, but I'm recording everything in the hard disk in my brain. Then I come out and I go and put it in paper. Now, sometimes I need to just walk into a place and just, there's a nice coffee there, and then there's this thing here. I can, maybe there's a screen. I just write stuff quickly, scribble things, go put it there. Run on my phone, look at it. Is it going to look okay? Is it fine? Are people going to look, view this and stuff like that? Now, that space has not been there. But let me ask, maybe these spaces have been there and we don't know. Maybe you guys have seen it somewhere. No, let's talk about this.
No, I think we have to understand that creative spaces are very expensive.
Yeah,
they are very expensive for both sides, for the management of the space, and for the users, the creatives themselves. And that's why there are not so many, because they're not business. They don't make much profit. Yes. And people find it difficult. Like, for example, if you want to create a creative mind, you need a space where you're not going to be bothered. You come in, check in, let's say you're going for a residency, you're a writer, you need 3 months or 6 months to write a novel, a book, or a play. So what are you going to eat every day? What are you going to say? And then you realize that the people who would like to have these creative spaces or to go into these creative spaces cannot afford to live in these spaces for 3 months.
Yes.
And creative spaces don't need to be like it has to have coffee every. No, you can also hire Serena for a month and stay there in your room and write. If you can afford it. If you can afford it.
That is $200 and $300.
So if you can't afford it, then that means that you need to find a place like Lunkulu, whereby we are also thinking about, okay, because I've been in the arts, I know the biggest challenge with our content production here is space. And not only from the side of presenting or creating, but also in the side of sustainability. For me, the reason why we invested in Lunkulu as an island for us to develop this space was I was tired of renting. I was tired of working at the mercy of the management of the National Theatre telling me when and how I can run my festival. Because I could organize a festival and they tell me, no, those dates are booked, the parliament is sitting, there's a special session. You can't have your stage there, and you're not going to fight with the guys. So if I need to continue programming, to do my work the way I want to do it, at my own pace, I needed to have my own space where I can say, I'm going to have my program throughout the year and no one is going to tell me when and how to do it. So this is what it means, that spaces are not there because some of the people cannot afford them. And even if you try to create spaces, you can rent it and then have people come in, then you run out of rent because the creative don't have the money to pay the daily cost that, So for me, I would reckon that if it was any opportunity for people, those who are arguments and they're trying to be entrepreneurial, to look out for spaces that they can afford to have and have them permanent so that they are not going to be kicked out or bothered. Because I've seen it also, I've invested in spaces. And then after investing it, you've done things and then they tell you, oh no, we are increasing the rent.
You can't afford it. I know what you mean. I know my entire studio was taken. Everything.
This is where it goes. So for me, I'm really happy. I don't know whether you saw some of the images of the space that we are going to, that we are working on at Lunkulu. And I'm really excited and looking forward to when we build this space and how it's going to look like and how people will be really taking advantage of it.
Wow. Musta, over to you. I mean, there are of course the challenges like I've talked about. In your walks of life, did you see some of this? Have you seen or did you see some of these spaces somewhere? Did you ever, in Uganda that exists that you think that it might pose a challenge to you? If not, what are some of the challenges that you see lying ahead and, are these creatives going to actually pay? Because there's one thing that Faisal talked about, having this creative space and then people don't willing to pay. I mean, then you find you're frustrated. Because I've seen a lot of people frustrated in the process. You've invested a lot of money with hopes that you're going to help people, and then the guys you're trying to pull up are just like, and then the kind of work they are creating also is not quite a very exhilarating, salivating kind of work that somebody look at it and say, oh, it's worth paying. And we will get to the point where the cooperative is dead.
The corporate community.
Yes, the corporate community. Are they appreciating? Do they come to, because when the creative comes to you and make these things, do they actually pay? Taking, for example, you had your first event in that place and the American Embassy was sponsoring field. What was their response? Did they like it, giving you that opportunity?
One, these places are available, but not specific for what not for what we created ours for.
Yeah.
The spaces have been there, and of course that's where the idea also came up from.
Yeah.
Because we've been to these places, but we also realize we don't fit in them.
Yeah.
Because of the reasons I gave before. Yeah. Maybe we can't afford them. Maybe we look weird when we're there. You know, things like that.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not our zone. And the person sitting next to me looks at you like, how did you get here? You know, things like that. So we've come up with this because we've seen the others around.
Yeah.
And then what is making ours unique is we're saying, this is for the weird ones.
Yes.
You get it? When you come,
yes.
This is your home.
Yes, yes.
This is it. Feel welcome. You're welcome all the time.
Yeah.
What was the next question?
Next, are they appreciating? Do they pay?
Okay. Now, unfortunately, ours was born last year. And this goes back to what Faisal was saying. No sooner had we planned to launch not even launched it. We were called by the administration of the property and said, hey, you were looking for more space some time back.
Yeah.
The space right next to you is now available.
Yeah.
And we sat there with my co-director, did the mathematics, said, you know what, if we don't take this now, someone might come and take it. You know what, let's dive into it. So we dived into it. Although we're not like really ready per se for it, we said if we lose it, we're not getting it anywhere else. Yet it's good that it's right next to us. So we jumped into it. 2 weeks, lockdown, pop.
Wow.
Yes, we began with the painting, the word lockdown came. Then, of course, we hustled, did this and that, not giving up at all. We've got an amazing management. The landlord is an amazing guy, and his team. So they understand the situations people are going through, and they're lenient.
They kind of chop the rent for you for those periods.
Not say chopped, but said, okay, you know what? The first 2 months when we're total lockdown, don't pay for those.
Yeah, okay, that's
amazing. You get it? That's amazing. How many landlords would do that in Kampala? You know, with all the hassles, you know, with whatever is happening. So that even gave us the morale and said, you know what? If the guys that own the property are willing to see us survive, let's not drop the idea. So we continued with it. We invested more. You know, I'll share pictures with you, you know, later, and then you can get to see what it looks like right now. And then no sooner had we started the workshops that I told you about, for example, then we dived into the second lockdown. You get it? So those are the hurdles that Faisal was talking about. So if you're not strong-hearted, you're going to collapse. Now, the people in the industry that we thought about, yes, you cannot think and impress all of them. That's for sure. You get it? There's people who prefer Pepsi to Coke. There's others who prefer Coke to Pepsi. You know, so that is expected. You know, but the few that will embrace it, that will be awesome. But we have a plan B for that same place. The same space has a plan B. And the plan B is what I was talking about of
inviting others.
Yeah, exactly. Having it work as a basic hub during daytime because of its location. This is Club Governor parking, you know. So the space is really very, very strategic for anyone, whether you're on a board or whether you're in a car. You know, it's one of those places that you just come to and it's a minute away from anywhere, you know. So we're saying other people can come and utilize it as we grow the purpose. You know, it's good that the workshops
so you developed a business idea.
Yes, so
sustainability.
Exactly. So we're saying we're building. You see, there's a problem with hobbies. When you're into something with a hobby mentality and you don't have the business mentality behind it, it's going to crash on your head. So we're saying, okay, Chino Chagalanyo, I love it, but guess what? We need to pay rent, we need to survive, and we need to see that it's there tomorrow, even if it's not there for the purpose that was ideally meant for. And then it's new to the people in the industry as well. So they will not just dive into it within 2 weeks. You know, it's a whole thing of, I mean, the workshop happened, they loved the space, the American Embassy team came, they were like, wow, this is the place to be. You know, so maybe we're praying that even next time there's something like that, they will say, please, let's just go back to Ebony and do this, you know. So things like that. And then I like what I've heard about what Faisal is doing. That's amazing. That space where you go and do you have network there?
Yeah.
That's one of the disadvantages.
He put a whole mask in there's a whole mask in the highland.
I know, he needs it. I mean,
but we need it because we have events.
No, definitely.
We need to stream.
Yeah, they need to stream and all that.
Yeah.
But I know there's places where you go to and you're ideally closed out, you know, and you know I came here to write, and you dive in and write, and then the network does you a favor and appears at about 6 p.m. and you do quickly whatever you need to do, and then it's down again. So yes, but it's amazing.
Wow.
So we're praying that they embrace it.
Okay.
That's why we also backed it up with the businessman, you know, the business idea behind it. So in case it's not going as smooth as we would love it to go, then it's still standing.
Okay.
Yes.
I want us to talk about the corporate entities, the corporate society. I mean, the money comes from there to the creative art. For a long time, while the creative people are thinking the spaces to create this stuff, you know, most ad agencies are run by creative minds
as well.
And these creative minds handles big projects coming from big corporations like MTN of this world, the Airtel of this world, and of course many others, you know, and NGOs. But quite often they don't quite appreciate the process of creativity. And if the creativity is not paid, is not rewarded by being paid, it becomes difficult for a creative person to even meet the bills of the process of creating or thinking creative, you know, for whatever they are trying to do. How can we, with this new invention of the creative spaces now for creative minds, for people who think, for people who write, for people who are thinking, for people who are, you know, inventors, to now be appreciated by creative people, I mean by corporate people, by people who consume our product? How can we motivate them to say, look, you now need to pay this thing. I'm no longer, you know, staying in my bedroom to create these things. I'm now sitting in this place where it's called an office, where I have a space. The rent
bills to
in
pay,
there, bill to pay is this, and I need to pay this. How do we motivate these people, given this new, you know, space that we now have, which is an investment in itself in the creative industry?
I don't know. I think what we have to understand that the corporate world has not done justice to creativity. Yeah. Let's be honest.
And yet they're the biggest beneficiaries.
Yes, they are the biggest beneficiaries. And for me, my observation over these past 15 years I've worked in the arts, I've not had a very successful engagement with any corporate company. Why? Because first of all, they follow populism. Like Chameleon has numbers, our support is Balam has numbers, I'll support that. And then it doesn't really do justice to the conceptual creative art that you need to present. There are so many great artists here that could be supported by all these companies that are here, but they don't find value in it because they're always looking at the numbers. And of course, you know, they kick back. But the other thing is that when we look at the creative people in the advertising agencies, where they are creative, but they are not the final decision makers. So their creativity ends where the agent wants it to end. And they are managed by businessmen. So if it doesn't work for the guy at Coca-Cola or whatever, they're not going to do what? They're not going to accept it, whether it's good or bad. So that's another thing. And then the third thing I find it sad about the creative corporate world that they have failed is to invest in the future of creativity, of where they are benefiting. I don't think there has been any company here in Uganda that had said, let us invest in Monster to train young filmmakers, because they need these filmmakers to make them promotions, right? They run adverts every day, but have they ever caught mind to say, let's invest in Monster, who is one of the greatest filmmakers here, or the guy on the camera, to train other young people so that they can learn, so that we don't get this money that they pick every day, take to South Africa, take to Kenya, to make these adverts. It's very simple. I don't think anyone had thought about that. But they need to consume, and if they find that the quality is not of what they expect, they shift it, they ship it to South Africa, they go to Kenya. So I think they have not done anything, and they shouldn't lie you when they said, when we've supported Arakeri to come. Who benefits from Arakeri's arrival? You know, we've supported Chigunda. Who benefits from that? I think we need to think, they need to think about the future, and the future is not only just giving money to an agency to make adverts. It's also investing in institutions, in training spaces, in capacities, in venues and areas where people can have room and space to learn and be able to add on to what is there.
Wow.
None of them is doing that.
Wow. Musta, your take on that one. I mean, Faisal raises very valid points.
Those are very valid points, actually, Faisal. Thank you. But when it comes to my angle, I have a 50-50 on what Faisal has said.
Yes.
There's a lot of information out there, as you know, for we creatives to consume, or to any other Ugandan, by the way, to consume. I can give you an example of the Stanbic incubator.
Yes.
That's something that we registered for this year as Ebony Heights, and we are attending, you know, the course, and it's amazing. It has opened our eyes to so many things that we did not even think about. Even us, when we're responding or talking to them, we tell them things and they're like, oh, wait a minute, because I think we're the only filmmakers there. I don't know if there's any other that has been there before, but at least for this year, we're the ones there, and we're asking them or telling them things that they had not put into consideration, especially when it comes to our sort of business. You know, so it's amazing. All the creatives should actually think of such courses. It's free, you know, it's free, and we've learned so much from it. That's one. Two, the corporate world itself have got a way they do things that might not be applicable to most of us in the industry. One, most of them want to work with an institution, or let's say a registered company. They want to come to Faisal, and Faisal is Bayimba, but they want to talk to him as Bayimba. You know what I'm saying? So there's a way they do their things because of probably how their structure is designed. You know, so maybe we also as creatives, we need to have, what's the right word? We need to have, or to put that effort, see ourselves organized. I think that's the problem we have. We're everywhere.
And nowhere.
And nowhere at the same time. When Faisal suggests that, hey guys, I have given you a week, come to the island, let's brainstorm about how we can make these things work. One is going to go like, I don't know if Faisal. You know what I'm saying?
Actually, our idea is
then he goes and whatever. You see it. So we've got all these kind of hurdles. And I think why the corporates are probably not even coming in to give a hand is because they don't even know where to start from. They don't know where, for example, if they ask filmmakers, Mudiwa, where do they go to? You see what I'm saying?
They have nowhere to go.
I think they have nowhere to go to. Then, of course, we have UCC. I think UCC, that's one of the biggest hurdles we have.
It's about, you know, collect this from these guys.
Yes,
not be
and that's
unfortunate.
That's really unfortunate. But I pray that we sit with them on one table and make this work. That's why I think probably, and that's the biggest reason. That's why I think the corporate department hasn't come to us, because we are disorganized. What was the other question?
The other question that what opportunities do they have?
Oh, okay, opportunities. One of the opportunities I gave was the Stanbic incubator. Those platforms are available for everyone. You jump on them, you're going to learn a lot. Secondly, we guys already, as Ebony Heights, we've said, okay, what are we adding to the creatives around there? The young guys, these young guys who are camera operators, have been operating camera for 20 years. What am I saying? I'm saying, okay, 20 years down the road, amazing, thank you very much. And I'm saying, we've had a training for one of our clients who brought in about 20 of their team. We're training them visual mixing, we're training camera, we're training directing. You know, so we've got a guy like Shap Sewali, you know, training and teaching young guys about directing. We've got Mehdi who's been doing wonders with visual mixing. Then we've got Pato, you know, Ejobi on camera. You know, so we've got even other people on board, but of course the client has got specifics. I want my team to be trained on A, B, C, D. But we've got a whole entire list of people that are willing to come out there and say, hey guys, Musta, if you get the opportunity for guys who want to learn about lighting, I'm available. You know, so we're doing that already.
Wow, the spaces are beginning to give us.
Yes, so we're saying we did 1 week, the lockdown came, we gave it a space of a week, and then it went online. And it's working out. Wow. You know, it's working out. So I think the corporates will find us there.
But I think they need to. I mean, they need also to commit themselves.
Yes.
They cannot just be like, you know, if you're an industry. For me, this is the what we talked about that. Nabo chibaka katako. They have to wait for
they need to come
and make an investment.
They take the risk to
they
come
have to take the risk because this is their space. We are not aliens that we just dropped and they were like, what? Let's wait for them to they have to contribute to the process. And I think that it takes also the will and the capacity to take the risk and like, okay, what, even if Musta is not doing it, even if Faisal is not doing it, who can we find? How can we engage this community? Because when they walk around and they are consuming this content, where do they think it comes from? You know, if there is no organized community, where does the content come from? The content is there. So it doesn't mean that you have to wait for someone to come to you with a concept and then you look at it like, what? So I think it's important that they should dive in. They should dive in. And I know sometimes it's difficult because also we have to understand that most of our corporate community is not, they don't make decisions here.
Yes, the decisions
are made from elsewhere, Nairobi, Cape Town, or Johannesburg, and those guys who make those,
New York.
You've been on juries where you look at a proposal like, no, but you have no context of it, you know? And I don't blame the guys because they are here. They might like what we are doing, but then they push it there, and the guys are like, what? This is not like we are like there, and you, what is this? We are not putting our money there, and I understand. So, how do we balance that approach?
I like the part where you say they should dive in at this stage. You see, when you dive in at this stage, you grow with the product, and then you know the nitty-gritties. But when you come when Faisal has made it,
it's difficult for you to listen to you because Faisal I did it my way.
Exactly. So you either listen to designed a way of doing it, on his own, and somehow chikuteyo. So then here you are coming. When it's at that level. When you come, when we're still in this kind of mess, it also has an advantage because then you get to learn how things do exactly work on ground.
Wow. Yes. Gentlemen, we're going to take our next break, and when we come back, we want to talk about the opportunities that are ahead, more, but also to say, why should they dive in now? Because there's another thing that people usually do. Ugandans are very good, or Africans are very good at waiting for something to be successful. Then they come and I knew it, but when you are starting it, they say, you just did, I knew it. That's not true. So we want to hear from you. If you're creative, you want to send us your kisses and disses. If Faisal and Musta is doing very well, kiss us. If we're not doing very well, diss us. We're okay. We are creative. We take feedback, and of course, we want to hear from you. What are your thoughts? We'll be right back after the break.
The private sector is not yet fully utilized.
I like the conversation
because not everybody can be employed by government. And we are looking at a future whereby more people are employed in the private sector.
Yes, Frank is saying, is it my fault?
So I think if we all work hard, if we all work together and invest in the right areas. There's been a lot of talk about value addition in the agriculture sector, in the mineral sector. If there's enough investment in those areas, I think it can create enough jobs for our children and grandchildren.
I just want to take you to question number 4. Let's talk about your foray into
Faisal has an amazing story. We need to make sure Lukulu becomes becomes a place for Can we shoot a movie in Lunkulu? Is there opportunity to shoot a movie in Lunkulu? Can we see this? Guys, this is a great
I joined KCCA
Alright, so a lot of interesting
on 1st November 2011.
But what would people saying that
and before then, I was...
Ask for so much.
Yes.
CEO of whatever.
Yes.
They give so much.
This is the reason why you're actually on the bench.
Because of my credibility. Thank you so much. But now they attack you, they vilify you. And the goal is to weaken you financially. Is to weaken your owner. These are slanderers. So I'm glad that someone would stay up at night to ask and learn about me. And I pray that in the next 2 months, because I know many Ugandans who travel overseas, when they go there, one of the things, because the media has been so much, and Sam Kutesa, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, has really not done a good job.
This is very interesting.
He has dropped the ball on this issue. Why? So many of us are being accused of being gay killers. Including me, you just had that person. Uganda is being accused that we kill gays, which actually is absolutely untrue. And because of this, it has affected our tourism, it affects people who go overseas to do work or study, it affects whenever you go to a conference, hi, my name is Okila. Oh, where are you from? I'm from Uganda. Oh, you are the gay killers. And then you begin to describe. So one of the things that I've done is I've written a book, which should be coming out. I know that I keep saying the same thing, but the work of doing a book takes a long time, and I wish I could be supported. You know, many people who write on this subject, like Sylvia Tamale, she's supported by the Rockefeller Foundation, Carnegie Foundation. There is money.
Okila is a very big brand, and as we go on, we will probably discuss the things we're trying to do to see that things change for the better.
Sean, on the CEO bench, for everyone who is following, we're live on our YouTube studio where we actually stream from. So YouTube studio, for everybody asking for a link, is actually House of Talent UK.
Paid for this, then you
confident in themselves and what they are offering. I think that's the biggest problem. Like women will easily settle for
guys.
Pay
this is very good. Can we keep this conversation going?
Mona Onyeto Jacob goes on to say, I think this is a comment, says, I didn't know that beauty products are taxed at 60%. Whoa.
They are. I pray that changes soon.
Can we have another show just
okay. So with that challenge of 60%,
setting up the company, you're doing tours all across the world. A personal account is great, but how these things are taxed becomes important for your business later on. As soon as you cross that threshold of 50 million a year, you're now in
the interest becomes more
share. Yes.
Welcome back from that break. This is the Creative Industry Talk. We are talking about creative spaces in Uganda. The spaces that we need to think, the spaces that we need to create, the spaces that we need to co-create with others, the spaces that we need to showcase our work before we serve to the public. It is key that the creative thinkers, the people who think about the process of bringing entertainment or knowledge and understanding to us to actually be able to think about these things. They look crazy, like, Faisal said, they look weird, like, Mustaque said, but they do great, amazing things. Gentlemen, welcome back to the program.
Thank you.
We're hastening to the close of the program. And I like the trend of the discussion. Off the line, I was just reading through the messages people are sending. Ugandans don't like to send messages, public. I have a lot of WhatsApp messages, Facebook messages, and then a couple of them
self-censoring.
Yes. That's another thing. So I have the first question.
It's a big
to you.
issue, actually.
Yes. But you see, we need to talk. The first question I have here, Mustaque, comes to you and Faisal, saying, how do we get the corporate people to become part and parcel of what we're creating now? And the person says that creatives, the corporate people in Uganda or companies in Uganda, or even people in general, when you are starting something, they don't want to be part of it. When something starts to catch fire and the people are talking about it, everybody wants to be part of it and everybody wants to come. And he's saying he hates it that they will come with so many ideas. Why couldn't they bring the ideas when you are starting? When you are starting and you call them, they never come. Okay, so how do we help corporate companies to come in, guys? What thoughts do you have for these guys to join us at this point in time when we're building the spaces for us?
One thing for sure I know is that also the corporates have, you see what happens with what I've noticed with corporates, most of them have studied particular courses and they're in that line.
Yeah.
I've given an example of how we're attending the Stanbic Incubator,
yes.
and we're telling them, we're asking questions about things they're kind of like bleak about.
Yes.
So maybe it is high time also the corporates
come and learn the creative.
Yes, let them come. Let them have a department that sits down and comes to understand how things are this way, because then that's the only way they're going to come and be part of us or partner with us.
Yeah.
I mean, for example, if the hub goes the way we're planning it to go, the entire successful line and program we have for it, it would be amazing if I had, for example, Stanbic come on board right now when I'm still in this struggle.
Yeah.
So that when we are cutting the cake, 5-10 years to come, we're standing on the same
platform with them and saying, look where we've come.
Exactly, look where we've come from. Things like that.
Yes.
That would be awesome.
Yes. I know Daniel Ogong, the marketing director of...
Daniel is an amazing guy.
He's watching the show.
Oh, great.
And it's been one of the people who follow this. So Daniel, I hope that's something that Stanbic Bank has been on.
Yes. So actually, Daniel
is one of us.
Yeah, he's one of us.
Sorry.
Daniel, they have said you're one of us. Yes. Actually, Rasby said he owned a creative agency before, so he belongs this side. You should not go and...
No. Daniel actually belongs this side. So it's great to have people, if we can have Daniels in other corporate agencies or companies that literally when we sit on the same table, we speak the same language. I don't want to go and sit and explain talk a language that people don't understand, and all they're looking at is, but we gave you 20 million shillings.
What did you do with the money?
What did you do with the money?
The money was a lot.
Hey, what do you mean the camera? What do you mean you had the camera for 1.5 million shillings a day? What is it shooting?
You can just get it. Even the iPhone is good. The
people
camera
out
is very
there,
good.
A guy came and shot my sister's wedding and the camera cost 250,000. Why is yours costing 1.5? Things like that. we need to sit with the Daniels, who understand. The other corporate organizations should have people like the Daniels who sit down and understand the language we speak. It will make things quite easy. They will easily come and see how to join us so we can grow together.
Wow.
Yes,
Faisal. I was directing a movie just before, Musta just reminded me of something. So I was called to write a script. So I wrote a script and I was going to direct and produce, and the guy said, what, in your invoice you have 500,000 for to pay the director? What nonsense is this? We are scrapping this, and he crossed with a big sign and says, no, we're not paying for this. We've already paid you to write the script. I said, yeah, you paid me to write the script.
Not to direct.
Yes, not to direct, not to produce. These are totally two different things. And I find that very disturbing that you don't see that I'm adding value here. So they decided they're going to produce the documentary somewhere. So I gave them the script and they went. You should see what happened. After many weeks, they came back and says, no, the thing you said in the script is not the way it has been produced. We think you wrote a very bad script which was very complicated for people. I said, that's the reason why you have a director and a producer. You said you're not going to pay for the director. So yes. So now I sat down with the brand manager and I explained things to him. I said, this is how it works. The one who writes the script is not going to come and produce. So if I write the script, I need a DOP. It's called a director of photography. You understand what it means? Director of photography. That means that this guy is going to give me the picture that we need that is commensurate to what the script is saying, and the image looks like this. Do you understand? Yes. So I eventually went back to the corporate company. It was actually an NGO, and sat down and trained guys for 2 weeks and watched how things do work. But and this time around they said, you come and train us for free, then the next time we have a deal we will pay you. I've never gotten paid. But I did the job. So over to you, Faisal. So when Musta talked about it, clicked something in my mind.
No, but as Musta said, that the corporate company, the corporate world also needs to invest their time and understanding the context in which we operate. And as I said earlier on, they don't need to wait for associations or success from other people. They also need to have their own strategy. The disadvantage here is that we don't have a shared vision where we want the sector to go, where the creative has to go, so that we are all working towards that. So it's a challenge for everyone, even us who are in the arts. We are investing money, but we don't know why we are investing that money. Sometimes we invest wrong. We put it in, maybe we just put money. For example, you say you want to train DOPs, but then you not knowing that actually you don't need many DOPs. You need script writers. You need set designs. You need, After Effects people. So we invest wrong because we have no clue of where the sector needs to go, where it is, and who is investing what. So once that is done, my recommendation to the corporate world is that they could do different things. I don't know whether they talk to each other. I think they do, because sometimes
the tendency is that they talk to each other whenever
but they have their special hangouts. They have their WhatsApp group, I think. So if they have their WhatsApp group, they can also agree on saying, you know what, we don't have much money for budgets or marketing and stuff like that. If you have a 10 million, you bring in a 10 million. They can create a basket fund, and this fund can be for the creative, that because they know they cannot survive without the creative processes that they use. So if they can put that basket fund and say, well, let's put up this money, it can be shared or chaired by one of us, rotating, and then we invest this money in the right areas where we need people to grow, to sustain the quality and the production of the work that we do. I think that would really do us a lot of.
I think that's amazing.
I
think that's amazing.
It would be because you
a
can't
basket for the creative,
because they can afford it.
Companies.
They can afford it. If they get 100 million and put it in cricket oval, or get $70,000 and put it in Arakeli. If they had put that money in a basket fund and say, okay, there's a fund here, where can we invest in capacity for the creatives? I think that would do.
It's actually get money. That's amazing. Actually become much better now that Musta is building.
So we can apply. Musta can apply.
This year, can Musta have the $50,000 and see how we can make this become bigger and better for all of us?
And we pay.
Amazing.
I mean, I think that's a good thing.
But also, like, for example, like the problem also, they like doing things themselves. They're like UCC.
So I was talking about the UCC situation where you are the regulator and then you are the one holding the film festival. I mean, the film.
It's just wrong. Simply wrong, and I don't know where they get even these guts. But I'm sorry, I don't dine with these folks. But the thing is that even the corporates also, when they learn about these things, now they start. Now they say, okay, these guys, they have a good idea. UBL, let's start training. Let's create a hub. Let's build it. It's not your job. And you never
that's another part where they actually go wrong.
They start saying,
instead of looking for the person who's supposed to actually do it,
thank you.
Then they want to do it.
They want to do it. No, it's not your job. They will say, we have a room here where we used to keep crates. It's empty.
Let's give
the money to Musta. Give the money to Eddie, because he is invested in this. He knows what it takes. He knows how to do it. So for me, if you're thinking of supporting the creative, please don't do it yourself, because you don't know how to do it. What you can do is find a good heart in you as a company, put the money and give it to the right people, and you can decide where you want it to go. Depending on your needs.
You come and sit with them.
Sit with
sketch
them
out
and
something,
decide where you want your money to go. That will be a contribution.
I think that's amazing.
Wow.
The basket.
Wow. The basket is the corporate basket. The corporate basket. Yeah, we need to start with this. And I think, guys, we just need to, first of all, people like, Tony Otoa, Standing Bank Business Incubator. I think we should come up with the idea and call Tony here and say, we can start from here. I think the idea of the basket for me is amazing. Big, it's amazing, where creativity can go. Because if government is not doing it, then the private entity can start. And it's something that can build us to go forward and grow the market.
But again, we are the government.
Yes. And we always think that
for me, the justification of this is not even something that they need to discuss. The justification of it, like they have communication budgets, they have marketing budgets,
all
they have CSR budgets.
Can it be one of those they add onto the list?
Exactly. MTN, wherever. If you can say we have a budget of 10 million for CSR or for marketing, just get 5 million. Let's Stanbic top up, Standard Chartered top up. At the end of the year, you'll find that you're having 100+ millions that you can say, okay, guys, apply.
To direct this to this.
Apply for this fund. And then it will be used very well. And it will be open to anyone. But not this selective way of like, I work with so and so.
No. There's this part you're forgetting, Faisal and Mustaque. This part where the guy works with you for 1 or 2 projects. The next thing he does, he goes and gets his cousin or his nephew, and then he's created a company on the side, and his nephew starts to run and he channels things to go there. And then he says, now, next time you're going to call Mustaque to come and work from here. It's not going to work because Mustaque is going to be very frustrated because, first of all, he's a senior DOP going to work with a young person who is not willing to learn, and you've entrusted him with a lot of money, and now he thinks that he can control what Mustaque is saying. So you're not going to end up with a very good product for that matter. And I think it's something that we need to change going forward. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much for coming to the show. We can talk until the chicken come out, like we say in Africa, but we're going to bring this show to an end. I want to start from you, Mustaque. What's your parting shot today? What should we take from you today?
Let's support each other. This industry is a whole net. Let's support each other. The industry is an entire network. It's networking. It's networking. Don't stand out and say, Zendi Wakabi, I can do this alone. No. Let's network. For example, I need Faisal. I need to have that space in case I need to film something at an island. Faisal is here. If I need good cameras, I know there's Solo. When I need to have space like this, I'll call Eddie. When you need creative space and a hub-like area, you will say, but Mustaque is there. So it's everyone. So thank you so much. Let's make this work. And then corporates, come join us. Come join us. Let's make this work. Let's make this happen.
Faisal?
Yeah, I think for me that the need for creative spaces is more urgent than before. Now we have been in a very bad situation where the world has been suffering. We are coming back. Many people have been creating, writing stuff. They need to produce that stuff. They need to create that content, and there is no space for them. A space where they are going to feel comfortable, not stressed, but they will just be there as settled and creating the content that we need. So the investment to make those things realistic is what is lacking. And it's not going to be a one-man's job. It's not. We don't want to put the burden, because at the end of the day, we all enjoy the content that comes out of it. So let's work together, as Mustaque said. Let's work together. Let's network. Let's not be like it's my own thing. I think it's if we jointly and have this shared vision, as I always tell you, we need to have this shared vision and carry it along together. There will be better as good as we can.
Wow, gentlemen, thank you so much for coming to the show. I want to say thank you very much, Mustaque, for coming, and Faisal for coming, and to all of you guys out there, thank you very much for being part of the creative industry talk, growing big and better. It did not exist before. We needed to start from somewhere. And now we have a platform for us to talk, for us to share ideas. I have, of course, seen some of the messages coming here. Can we discuss how the corporates can actually be part of these creative spaces going forward? How can we better bridge the gap between the corporates and and the creatives? Perhaps the votes are going to work, and of course we would like to bring back Mustaque back on the show and Faisal back on the show to actually show us. People want to see, you know, the creative spaces that you're talking about, what you guys are doing, and somebody says it would be good to do a great, you know, deal of understanding what they're doing, and if they come back, and then we can show us the place. So we'll probably come back and then discuss how can we brainstorm, how can corporate come and join us? Yes. What are the ideas? Where do we start from? Maybe we'll probably place a 1 or 2 corporate at the UEBONI's place, and maybe put one to Faisal in Lunkulu and say go to Lunkulu, maybe give Faisal a boat to be able to transport us there all the time, and you know, we will bring them back to the show. But otherwise, we want to say thank you very much, guys. And until next week, Creative Industry Talk will be back, and we'll discuss what are the opportunities ahead for the corporate companies, and we'll dive into it. Until then, stay fixed, stay right there. Creative Industry, signing out, Eddie Okila, Faisal KIWEWA, and of course, Mustaque Abdallah. We're out.
Blessed. How did that go? Yeah, that's good. What we were saying, how